Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ananya Arora and today we'll be talking about a lot of things. So since the time I uploaded my last video, a lot has happened. Grammys have happened. We have had the Grammys red carpet to view and talk about, and then the Lakme Fashion Week has started, and today was the first day of the Lakme Fashion Week, and we're going to discuss the shows that happened and in my opinion which was the best show, and probably I will be taking you through the entire show. One of the shows which I felt was the best. So first, talking about the Grammys, I think there were three clear winners. One was Taylor Swift. She was wearing Oscar de la Renta and she had this matching mask, and it was a perfect outfit just because she had album on a similar theme that came out, that was Folklore, that also got her the award for album of the year, and it was shot in a very similar kind of environment, like it was shot in a forest and the whole nature, close to nature vibe. And for her to choose something which was like all dressy or floral and very organic, like these are not modern or contemporized flowers, they are very in their very natural form, and put in a very natural organic way together on this dress. So I think it was a very good choice for to someone who's anticipating or who's a nominee for the album of the year, considering an outfit which was in very much sync with the theme that they had for the album. Second was Harry Styles, and he was wearing Gucci with a green boa and a leather suit and a pant by Gucci. And he was again in a similar look. He was wearing another yellow checkered jacket with a purple pink boa around his neck. So that was another winner. And third winner for me in the Grammys was Schiaparelli's look for Beyonce. It was so on point. It was so statement, in a way, and Beyonce being the queen, she really rocked it. I think it is very nice for celebrities to go for sometimes very outrageous looks, like she was wearing these, very in your face golden type of earrings that were designed by Daniel Rosberry for Schiaparelli. And these are the three looks from Grammy that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to keep the review for my looks for Grammy very brief because I think that we have heard enough and we have seen enough, and about the looks. And I really wanted to talk about something that is very current, that is the Lakme Fashion Week, and we just did the first day, and I'm going to talk about that in detail. So the first show that opened the Lakme Fashion Week this time was done by Anamika Khanna. She had taken an inspiration from a philosophical concept where there is a lot of everything that is created is kind of eventually comes to an end and then it is rebuilt, and we always have the chance to recreate. So it's another take at the how we are feeling in terms of the pandemic, and how we are feeling in terms of everything that is happening. And now that we are getting back to our normal lives, somehow there's a hope, there is a chance to rebuild from what we've lost, or what after we were put to halt. So that's what was the inspiration for her. And the show was a very classic Anamika Khanna. I was happy that she's in a way she's given us some very statement looks, is what I'm saying, but it is very true to what she owns of her as a brand. To open the show with a very organic, three painters painting on the white model, and then ending it in the same fashion that the rain washes over the paint, and in the end we are again left with the white. So it was basically a kind of thing to remind us that we always have a chance to recreate or rebuild. Now if I talk about the looks, I think that there were some really powerful looks, but there were 2-3 disappointments in my opinion that did not sit very well. But in terms of silhouettes, in terms of jackets, overcoats, the kind of silhouette she creates with her own brand, it was very on point, very good. And even the surfaces were very new, to put a lot of types of embroideries and, juxtaposition of different types of fabrics and checkered and creating different types of surfaces through that. It was very brilliant. So now we talk about the first day of the Lakme Fashion Week. Lakme Fashion Week first day was opened by a show for the Gen Next category. This time the two winning designers who were showcasing in the Gen X category was Rafughar, that is by Vajahat Ragar, and label Rahul Das Gupta. Now both of them had pretty decent shows, but I liked the one that was done by Rafughar in terms of the embroidery. He has taken a very indigenous embroidery that is, Kashmiri work, and then he's tried to contemporize the motifs in very variable silhouettes. And even the show choreography, you know, it was very on point for me. I really liked the show. I really liked how it was put together by the choreographers and the theme and everything. But for me, the star of the entire show, apart from the clothes and the embroidery, was music. The music was very on point. It has a very Kashmiri folk kind of beginnings, and then it kind of contemporizes itself as we progress into the collection. It's a very good way of easing the viewer into what your inspiration has been and how kind of where you are coming from and what you're trying to convey. So there's a very smooth transition that happens to throughout the show, and it really binds you to the roots or to the inspiration of where the collection is coming from. That is why, in my opinion, when we are doing phygital shows like this, where we are doing a lot of videos, are the only thing that that are taking the product to the viewer or the customer, or everyone who's seeing the show. It is very important for you to come up with something that is very on point with what you are trying to convey. So Rafugar did a better job in comparison to label Rahul Das Gupta. Rahul Das Gupta was also a brilliant show in terms of the textiles and the hand wovens. So if you want to see the brilliance of the loom and the brilliance of hand loom, actually, that how much art can be created when a fabric is being woven by hand, that was pretty visible and pretty evident in the collection that was done by label Rahul Das Gupta. It was inspired by sea, so he had created these beautiful textures, and it was a menswear collection. So to put an entire menswear collection together for something like this, it's pretty bold move in a way, and then to do it so nicely is another. Now, the second show that was done there for the day was in the FDCI Emerging Talent category. That was Baloney by Akshat Bansal, and it was the winner of the day one, in my opinion. I will come back to this show after we have talked about other shows, because I want to review it with you. I want to, kind of go through the entire show with you guys. And in my opinion, I will, kind of dissect, tell you what I liked and what made it a really brilliant take, what were the intelligent points in the show. So we'll come back to this. Next show was Logitech into Arpita Mehta. This show was very good, or very well put together. The fresh things about the show were that she took the jackets, heavily embroidered mirror work jackets, and the frilled sari or the ruffled sari that we've been seeing for a while in everyone's show, to the beach. So it was very nice to put something that is wearable on the beach, like kaftans and dresses and all these things, along with jackets and a sari, and take it to the beach. It was a very new take. It was very fresh to look at, and it looked very wearable. Like if you would see someone wearing a bralette with a breezy sari, it kind of feels that it belongs to the beach. And to put something that is as heavily embroidered and not to make it look very jarring or very tacky in a subtle environment, like putting it against the sea, it was very brilliant. Arpita Mehta's show was called Reflections, and it was sponsored by, or it was in collaboration with Logitech. One thing that I really liked about the show was the starting and the beginning of the show. It looks like she's logging it, like the model is logging into the show and then she logs out. But I really felt that that kind of theme was so well thought of, that it could have been incorporated bit more into the show, like while the show was running, and not only in the beginning and in the end. This is also what I felt with the show that happened with Anamika Khanna. Like the three separate pieces that were shown in the beginning and the three separate pieces that were shown in the end, and there was no like connection in between. So to link the ending and the beginning together would have been better, in my opinion, is what I feel. Then there was this another show by Gisha, designs by Paras and Shalini. So I'm not a fan of the show. I don't think it is very new. There was nothing that was put together for the very first time. It was all that we have seen before. Very pastel lehengas, and one lehenga is in geometric, and one lehenga is in color, and one lehenga is in florals and all these things, and all of them are in pastels. So we have seen pastels for a while in wedding wear. We have seen all kind of lehengas and bralettes and cholis and all these things. So it was not very new. It was something, I would say, did not have a very strong inspiration, in my opinion. So the collection looked a little disconnected to me, and even the show choreography was very bad. And I would like to point out that the makeup was very bad. The models did not look nice. There was a lot of highlighter, there was a lot of shine that was happening, and they did not look fresh in my opinion. So, not a fan of the show. Next, at 8 p.m., then again, we had Lakme Salon into Pankaj and Nidhi, where they presented their collection Kaleido. So, I liked the collection, but I did not like the way it was put across. So, when you look at the clothes, they're very bright, they're very pop color, they're very in your face, attention seeking. They kind of give you that look at me types vibe, and then you really want to look at them because there's so much work that has gone into creating the garment and the surfaces. And Pankaj and Nidhi are, kind of famous for creating surfaces that are put together with various kind of materials in a geometric format. So it is very nice, and I liked that, for summer they had not overdone the embellishments. There was a very nice balance between the print and the embroideries that were done. I did feel that, at some point there were some pieces that were done in a monochrome print that reminded me a little of Gauri and Nanika in the terms of silhouette. Like, the flared hems and symmetry and puffed sleeves and all these things. But I get that, that's kind of lookbook or the trend that we're looking at, so they had to do those pieces. Otherwise, the show was very nice. I liked the clothing. I liked that how Pankaj and Nidhi in the past few seasons has come up with a very strong brand image, that what they are, and, very strong brand ethos in what they're trying to convey. So that is very nice. In my opinion, the choreography and the music could have been better because the music was very, I did not go with the vibe of the show in my opinion, and it could have been, better to convey a better mood of the thing. And apart from that, I feel that they could have done a little better in conveying the inspiration of the show. Where are these prints or where are these silhouettes coming from? If that was a little inculcated well in the show, that would have been much better. Otherwise, I like the clothes. I just feel that the presentation could have been a little better. Next up, we have SNN by Shanthir Nikhil, which is their bridge to luxury brand and where they're trying to cater to a younger clientele. So for me, I just went through the looks and I quickly rushed through the show because it did not interest me at all. I did not bind myself to the show. I did not feel like watching it because there was nothing new in my opinion. This was very Shantanu and Nikhil that has been done before. We have seen this kind of Shantanu and Nikhil with structured shoulders and a drape on the side. And the styling was horrendous. Even the music I did not like. Even the set I did not like. It looked like it reminded me of the Big Boss set where there are screens and, or someone, very tacky reception, wedding reception kind of thing where you have these LED screens which are doing their own thing at the back and then there is something happening in the front. The styling was very bad. It did not go together. So I think it really dipped the show for me. And the glasses were so in your face, like you did not want to see anything else once the attention was, taken by the glass. Now, let's take us back to the show that gave me goosebumps. It was the best, and I was so excited to talk to you guys about it because, I really feel that, finally, it makes me so happy that finally Indian fashion is opening up, or Indian vision is opening up to trying something new, and designers like Akshat Bansal are taking the risk, to put their money and put their creativity just out there without the fear of being judged or whatever. Obviously, I would want you guys to go and look at the show separately to see the impact of the entire show with the music, with the choreography, what happens in the show, and feel for yourself that why am I calling it the winner of day one or the brilliant show. I mean, I was very surprised that a brand that is just 3 years old and in the emerging talent category for Lakme Fashion Week did such a good job while creating something that is so fresh to look at, so new, so daring, and just putting it together so well. So the show starts, with white and black ensembles in tie and dye, and there's this one model standing in the middle. As you can see, she's wearing a bikini over the top of a knit bodysuit that is there in white, which ultimately catches your attention. I like what is happening on the 3D kind of world that they have created on the back with a huge globe in the center and the Baloney logo going around the globe. It is a very nice way to put the branding in your face, but then not take the entire attention. I really thought it was very brilliant to have a graphic like that that remains constant throughout, but still kind of adds to your show. So that is the opening of the show. It opens up to that screen, then you go to that model that is standing in the center. The other models start walking in. I love the way that the collection was made for a, it was not refined to a particular gender, because I honestly, we are so tired of seeing the clenched waist and, women clothing for women and clothing for men that is separate. Men is structured, women have clenched waist, because that is not how bodies are. I love the way that all the silhouettes that were created by Bloni, most of them were not very body conforming. He had oversized jackets and, beautiful silhouettes, cuts that were very new, and tie and dye that kind of created, that effects. Apart from that, in that show, there is macrame, there is a lot of crochet, there is glazed fabrics. I think he's done something with the marine waste fabric also, and combination of knits and wovens. So it's a very well thought show that is put together, which creates a huge impact. So new and so relevant into the times that we are moving into. So he took a very modern take, towards sustainability, and, made it very cutting edge, very high fashion, very international level, in my opinion. I like the way that how the background remains constant. There is not really lot happening in the back, and kind of just adds to the entire vibe of the show. As the models start walking in, they're wearing these very not body conforming garments, which are very new or very baggy and, extravagant silhouettes. When we talk about the inspiration or the theme of the show, the name of the show is In Between X and Y, and the idea was to create non-gender conforming, clothing that can be worn by anyone. That was the inspiration behind the show. As you progress into the show, you do feel that, it could be, a very monochromatic kind of show, because you're only seeing subtle hues, with black and white, and it kind of, just, ease into that aesthetic. And the moment you get too comfortable with looking at looks that are like that, there is this person who walks in with a huge cape that is in acid green, that is kind of, takes you by surprise and draws your attention back to the show. I'm absolutely in love with how the color is introduced after doing a few pieces in the beginning, and, the color kind of brings back the interest and breaks the monotony as the show progresses. Then there are these few looks in the same color palette with the acid green, and you're really getting into the show. And, the music also kind of towards a little tempo, and, it's kind of a build up towards something. And with the introduction of color, you prepare yourself, for the ending of the show, because that's how you feel, that now you've seen enough and now the show is supposed to end. But then what takes you by surprise is that what seems to be the ending of the show is not the ending of the show. Like, I was very happy about it, because I was like, okay, it's getting over, and kind of a little sad that, this is all we could get from them this season. But as you feel that, the show is ending, there's this another boom, and, there's shimmer, and there is shine, and, all these textiles which are very, filled with shimmer. There's all sequins, or there is all, shiny latex kind of fabrics, where there is a draped jumpsuit kind of thing, and then draped tops and shimmer capes with hoodies and all. So that brings us to the last segment of the show, and, the accessories are beautiful, the nail art is beautiful. I think they've done something which is very similar to the logo of the brand on the nails of the models, which is, kind of, the detail took me by surprise. And after that, the show ends. Now I want to talk about how, there are other elements apart from clothing that made it, a very, very good show, in my opinion. And, the real meaning of a digital show. Like, how are we using the digital aspects to make a show better? So first, I would like to talk about the music. The music, I think, was created by the designer in collaboration with a few other artists. It was a custom music track that was done only for the show, and it was so on point. Like, it really went with the vibe, or with what the designer was trying to convey, and what was the inspiration, and not just, trying to get someone into the groove or to draw the attention. There was no jarringness of the beats in the back. It was a very beautiful build up from the beginning towards the end, and, it kind of really added to the entire mood of it. So I thought it was really brilliant. Now, one thing that was very new or very interesting to look at was that the show was not closed by a showstopper, but this was the only show that kind of started with the theme, on only on the theme and not on the looks, and then ended also on the theme and not on the looks. Because after you have seen all the looks, there is this another segment of the show after that, where is this sudden burst of red and the lighting changes to red, and then you know that okay, this is the end of the show. And it is a very nice way to keep the theme intact throughout till the end. So the visual brilliance of the show, the putting together of the show, the choreography of the show was very on point. It made it really nice. I'm really a fan of the show. I'm really a fan of how it was put together. The minutest details were taken care of. And the styling was so on point. If you have noticed, there are fake lashes that are placed on the models right here. And it is something which is so usual. Like, fake lashes are so usual, but the use of them to, kind of get focus here on the eyebrow area is very new. It stays with you. This is such a nice detail that kind of stays with you, makes a statement. The same thing with the white lenses that have been there. So all of these looks that were taken care of in the styling kind of just add on to the final look or the vibe that the designer is trying to convey, and not, kind of take the attention. The styling was very on point. Everything just added on to the vibe of the show. It was very brilliant. It was amazing. I really hope that there are better shows in the coming week, but I sincerely doubt also that, anyone will match up to the level that Baloney has created. So this brings us to the end of this video. I hope you liked my review. Do let me know how you feel about these shows. What was your favorite? If you had another opinions. If you had opinions that did not match with mine, please let me know. And do comment, how did you like this review? Should I do them better? How can I make them better? And please bear with me because these are my first videos and I'm just starting. And hope to see you next time. Bye bye.